There we go. Okay, I'm calling the Board of Selectmen's meeting to order for December 6th, 2017 at 6 o'clock. We will start with the Pledge of
Right there, right there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being recorded and it will be televised at a later date. First thing on our agenda is the tax rate classification. I am going to be very candid with this. I have had so many conflicting recommendations on this meeting that I really don't know where to go with it at this point. It appears that we need to take and vote to have a classification, either as a number of classifications, as commercial and residential, or just one classification. The town historically has always been one classification. I'd like to allow the assessors a moment to say anything they'd like to say.
All right, not a great deal to say. Doric Dodds, Assessors Board. It's pretty simple math here. Conventional wisdom is that you want to have a much bigger proportion of the commercial, industrial, and personal property taxation as a part of your entire levy before you even bother thinking about a split rate. So evidently, for all these years, having it the same way, we've had it right. Right now, our CIP represents just under 6% of the total levy. Definitely doesn't meet the standard for making sense out of a split tax rate. For that reason, we, the board, officially take the view that we see no reason to change from the single tax rate. End of story.
Any discussion? Then I would entertain a motion that what we do is we vote to have a single tax rate, and we continue this hearing to the 12th to reaffirm that vote, so we satisfy everybody from DOR to the town council.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Single tax rate,
Single tax rate.
as recommended by the Board of Assessors.
Any discussion?
I read the email, so I'm fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
And what about the rate itself? Are we to talk about that, or is that the next meeting?
We're going to set that up at the next meeting, and then we're going to have forms for us to fill out and sign.
So we're going to make a motion to continue this meeting till the
We'll continue it
12th
to the 12th.
of December. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Continue this hearing, but
Right.
not this meeting. Right.
Right.
This hearing.
That's what we voted at the last meeting
Yes.
anyway.
And I as well.
You got hearing, not...
Yeah, I'm changing it
Right,
right
not
now.
meeting,
Thank you.
hearing. That's why I corrected myself.
Yep, I got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Okay.
So should we have read before this, the advertisement that Bob put in and state what date it was, just for the record, for this hearing?
I could, but...
Probably should, just for the record,
Because we're
because it's-
continuing it, I didn't see the merit in it, but
I think we
I have no
should,
problem
yeah.
doing it as soon as I find it.
Just to state what date it was advertised and where it was advertised.
It was advertised in, I believe, the Daily Hampshire Gazette, Southampton Board of Selectmen hearing, public tax classification hearing. The Southampton Select Board will hold a tax rate classification hearing on Wednesday, December 6th, 2017 at 6 p.m. and was in the first floor meeting room, which has been moved to the second floor meeting room, during a special meeting of the Board of Selectmen, and it was posted December 2nd.
That's good. That's
Okay.
just for the record.
I have no problem with that. We are now moving into a number of PCFs for the fire department. And seeing that John was late, he gets to read them.
This is the third time.
Listen, we're not asking you to bring pizza. You
Third time
know?
what, you've ever been late?
No.
I did.
This is the third time I saw these at the personnel board. I saw these at the
Well,
finance.
it You should have it down
I
pat.
asked already, and I've seen.
So you know the status.
I have all the answers to them.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to read them out to you. PCF, this is job titles, billing and state mattress reporting duties incentive for Brian Morris. It's an essential additional duty to ensure billing is correct and timely, includes keeping the state mandated mattress reporting current. So he's going up 50 cents an hour. It's been signed off by everybody, the chief, the PQB, and finance. Want to do these all at once?
I prefer.
Okay. Eric Toya, billing and state mattress reporting duties, the same as Mr. Morris. He's getting an increase of 50 cents an hour, and is signed off by everybody. This is for Kyle Gagnon, firefighter/paramedic. He just graduated the 2-year paramedic program. It's been cleared by medical control to function at full paramedic level, and he's going up from 1883 to 1961. Don't ask me to calculate that. That's been signed off by everybody. And this is just Chief Workman, over the course of time, has said we've got a lot of young people going to paramedic school, and this is the classes are graduating, so we're starting to see the benefit out of that. So that's a good thing. This is James Struthers, paramedic firefighter. Again, he graduated the 2-year paramedic and cleared medical control. He's going up from 1730 to 1961. Been signed by everybody. And these are all non-benefited positions. Actually, this one was an emergency position. But the others are non-benefited. Michael Limoges, Equipment Compliance Coordinator, Hampshire 6 Fire Academy graduate. Tyler has an engineering background, will be keeping our gas monitoring equipment up to compliance to ensure accuracy and retain firefighter safety. He's completed the Hampshire County Firefighting Training Program. He's going up $1 an hour. 50 cents for being a Hampshire 6 firefighter, and 50 cents for equipment compliance coordinator. Signed off by everybody. Michael Freer, additional duty, public education / safe coordinator. Mike's shown tremendous incentive in leading our public education projects and going to Mass Fire Academy courses in public education. Has joined the public education teams in Western Mass to stay current with educational and grant opportunities. He's going up from 1663 to 1763. Signed off by everyone. This is Scott Bullock, additional duties, lieutenant. He's going up to lieutenant rank, going from 2549 to 2649. He's also a paramedic firefighter, and it's been signed off by everybody. Steve Rubner, he is coming in as a captain. Steve was a captain for the department for just over 18 years. Expertise and personal knowledge of both fire department, towns, and asset to the community. This promotion to captain is reinstating the rank he had when he left and is justified by his team building and leadership abilities. He's coming in 2288. He was at 2088 apparently when he was here last time, but he's coming in at 2288. So captain firefighter. Signed off by everybody. Another paramedic firefighter, Drew Morris. This is, I believe, a resignation.
It's a resignation.
Yeah, this is a resignation. Drew moved out of state, so he resigned. Firefighter EMT, another resignation. Matt
Yes.
and has had a second job, and his family has increased, so he doesn't have the time. That's just a resignation. Going back to James Struthers, this is an emergency. He just graduated from a 2-year program, and the reason for that is that we lost Scott, or I meant Drew. We lost
Probably Drew. Yeah.
so he's filling
Yeah.
in, yeah. So anyways, those are all of them. They've been vetted by the PQB, finance, and now us. And they're all within budget. He uses them within budget. So there's no additional cost there. So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve all the PCFs.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? Very good. Those are the originals, so Velda wants me to sign them and get them back to her, so I'm going to sign them tonight, and I'm going to leave them in her
You got it.
box. Next item on the agenda is open time to the public.
The only mic I think we have is this one, so you want to stand at a table?
It picks up well, Barbara. Don't worry about the mic.
Sure it is. My name is Barbara LaFlamme, and I'm from 20 Cook Road in Southampton. I've been here before. I am concerned about the town purchasing an appropriate piece of land for the safety complex. So what I've done, I've had people call me probably because I've spoken publicly about it, or because they know I've been an assessor, I've been on the Board of Selectmen, I've been on the planning board, and just finished dealing with the Cook County Road sale, which the town and the Commonwealth in East Hampton purchased. So anyway, to share with you and everyone else who may or may not be familiar with the
Pass them around, yeah.
yeah. Chapter
Thank you.
61, currently under discussion based on the,
Thank you.
what had Charlie had indicated at the last select board meeting. The town of Southampton is currently in possible negotiations for land on the College Highway. As I indicated before, lots of people are in favor of that particular parcel of land. But because it is in Chapter 61, the regulations require that the property owner notify the town of Southampton of their intention to sell. The fact that there is a for sale sign on the property leads me to believe that, yes, indeed, they are offering the land for sale. My question to the board is, have you been notified of the intention, their intention to sell?
The straight answer, to my knowledge, is no, the town has not officially been notified.
Okay, should the town be negotiating without having been notified?
I do not know. That is a legal question. I do not see a issue with people coming to me, just like they come to you, to discuss projects and ideas.
I'm not official. You're official. I'm not.
I understand that, but the reality is I'm only one voice in this board. Even if I have a discussion with somebody and tell somebody I think it's a good idea, that does not obligate the town to anything.
I think because you are chairman of the Public Safety Committee, and because you are chairman of the Board of Selectmen, that you have more of a responsibility than me as a citizen would have. So anyway,
Would you prefer that one of the other selectmen go into discussion with these property owners?
no, I guess my question is, how much information are you sharing with the rest of the Public Safety Committee?
What is going to happen is there's going to be an executive session meeting on the 12th with the Board of Selectmen to discuss this, because it now gets into the level of negotiations of property, which goes into the executive session realm.
Okay? From my reading of this, the property owner has many obligations. If they are in contractual negotiations, even before you get a chance to meet as a board to discuss, they need to present information.
I don't disagree with you at all, Barbara. I know they need to take and submit this, and they haven't. These conversations started as just basically people talking to each other about things. That's the reason I brought it up at the last selectmen's meeting, was so people at least saw what I knew, what was being talked about. That's as far as that's gone, by the way.
Okay, this is really pretty straightforward in the obligations of the property owner, and I'm not sure that they have acted in good faith when they put out contracted with a real estate agent to put a sign out there that said this is for sale without contacting the town.
Well, let me just, my thought, and just reading from my knowledge and reading it here, in this first section, it implies that unless the land for sale is going to be taken out of 61A, it has to be notified of town. But if they're selling the land to somebody who is keeping it in 61A, they don't have to notify the town. Or in the second paragraph, if the people that buy it are going to use it for their own house or their grandparents, they don't have to. So we can't say that they're not following the law.
Okay, but further on, if you read further on,
Yeah.
they need to indicate what their plans are for the land.
They being who?
The
seller.
property owner.
Right. So I don't know if the current property owner or the new one.
The current property owner is who is charged with the obligations.
Right, but the new property owner, if they're selling it to, the old property owner, if they're selling it to the new property owner, they don't know what that person's going to do. So once the new people buy it, they have to have their intent to the town. If they want to
No.
convert it.
The existing property owner needs to make notification to the town.
By certified mail, I understand.
Yes.
That's typically the way it's always happened.
But isn't it only if they know the property is going to be taken out of 61A? That's what I read into this.
My understanding is that they are obligated to send a certified letter to the town, not just when it's coming out of 61A, but also a transfer of property.
So,
But I think would have to get an official opinion about that, but that's what
Yeah.
I have been told.
yeah, I'm understanding it differently, so maybe we need to get an opinion, because as I read it, if it's not being converted, we don't have the first right of refusal.
Well, certainly if it's offered to the town for public safety complex, that's definitely a conversion. It's-
There's no debate there.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, but at this point in time, nothing's been offered to the town, it's just been discussions,
Okay,
you know.
well, I think the public wants to know. They're looking for transparency is what they're looking
And that's the
for.
reason it was brought up last Tuesday night, so that we at least knew where we were in these discussions. There's actually no negotiations going on. That was a poor choice of words on my part. It's more of discussion as to what might be workable. But at this point in time,
And I'm
There's
going to
nothing-
follow up on my other question that I asked. Have any other property owners come forward for discussion?
no, not to my knowledge.
You've not had any other?
When we put out the letter, did anybody else come forward?
Well, we talked to the Gorton family, and we discussed this, and we realized that we would have to take houses to be able to get access into there.
Right.
And the Grange.
The Grange came forward. The Grange looked like a good idea because of the fact that it would help that other building.
That wasn't a safety complex.
Right.
No, that wasn't really safety complex.
But that was a result of the letter.
That was the letter.
Right.
Don't remember what happened with Konopka. There was a little bit of conversation, and then it just disappeared. People call up and they have a conversation, Barbara, but nothing comes out of a lot of these conversations.
Okay, that brings me back to the request uniform procurement and the offer to landowners who may have an appropriate piece of land to offer. I've never seen the guidelines on what you were requesting or what the committee was requesting.
It was mostly an open-ended question, asking if anybody in town had an interest in working with the town on a public safety complex.
Within how much of a radius?
We never even said that.
No, how many acres?
That's one.
We never said that either.
Okay.
It was really wide open. It was really just because this has been going on. I've been working on this committee for 12 to 14 years now, and trying to make something work.
I've been watching it for just as long, believe me, and enthusiastic that we may be at the point where we can find a viable solution for it. And I think that's what the town wants. But we're looking for transparency. So anyway, I have these, and I'll share with anybody else who's here that's interested.
Could I have an extra copy? I want to give it to the town administrator.
Sure. This is straight from the Mass DOR.
I understand that, but if it stares him in the face, then he sees it.
Okay, that's fine.
You know what I mean? Any other public comments, time? Sure, Mike.
Michael Rosenberg, 144 East Street Finance Committee. Just to follow up, we had our meeting Monday, discussed a couple finance items. We had the select board meeting last Tuesday, looked at projected revenue for next year. We just received a letter, we were copied on a letter from the town administrator about an increase for the building inspector. We've talked about the possible continuation of the Conservation Commission agent. The fire chief informed me that they were given another citation letter for not adhering to the agreed upon plan for the level of service. We'll work around for that if we don't go for the full staffing is another increase in staffing. All these little things are just constant. They're just adding up, all these different, these items. I would like to, I guess, formally request that we have a finance group meeting as soon as the town administrator starts and the finance committee be invited, because we're at a point with $220,000 in projected revenue. How much of that is going to be automatically eaten up by CBA increases, by insurance and benefit increases, all those other things you can't control at this point, and what does it really leave you left for next year? And I think getting on that sooner the better is important. I think we have serious concerns because there's also the large shortfall in the school, which will be coming next year, and it's the sooner people get together to discuss it, the better.
The new town administrator starting, if memory serves, January 8th. You want to try to do something when he just gets on board, or you want to give him a week?
What day is January 8th?
Probably a Monday.
9th is fine. I mean, to be honest, when he starts, it is the most important thing.
And that's why I'm bringing that up.
The town, I think, we've worked with an interim, 20 hours a week for so long that I'm sure he can adjust because he'll have more time, but concentrating on the budget, the sooner the better. At least meeting to develop some guidelines and a plan,
8th is a Monday.
8th's a Monday? So,
it doesn't need to be the 9th, but, the sooner.
well, the 9th's a Tuesday, so I don't want to do that, but we could do it Wednesday.
Yeah, that's
Want to aim for the 10th?
Would that be logically when would we have a select board meeting, do you know?
Well, I don't know, but I would guess, I would stay away from the 9th, is what I would do, because the 1st is the New Year's. So that would logically mean that the 9th would be the selectmen's meeting,
Okay, and the 16th
Is a town meeting.
this town meeting. So if we wanted to do it like the 10th,
Yeah, that's fine, and I just think having a list of, what we expect already for next year, right? We know there's 220,000 possible revenue. We know we have this list of offset costs. What are we looking at, and what can we start doing today to help? There may be some budgeting and freezes for this year in some accounts that may help for next year, right? So the sooner you look at it, the sooner you may be able to recognize some funds.
and January 10th actually works good, because that's when both the TAs are going to be here. So
Yeah.
that would be a good transition point. Okay, very good.
While you're still up there, we were talking about the finance team at the finance committee meeting, making sure there's somebody from finance committee and the assessors on it. And we don't want that to fall away. It seems like the group forming now is minus those two contingencies. Am I correct on it?
It is. So there's different ways Massachusetts looks at finance teams and the finance committee. Some towns have finance committee members working on finance teams. Some towns have the finance committee as its own separate entity outside of the finance team, because the finance team is the executive branch, kind of sponsored by the select board. Our concern is that I feel as a finance committee, we've been active the past few years. We've been helpful through some of the transitions, and being left out of this upcoming transition, we don't feel at least this year is the best decision. If future years, we're on a great track and the finance committee is able to pull away, similar to what we talked about the PCS, right? We're involved because we feel we provide that watchdog type of requirement there, but if, the following year, if we can pull away from some of those and everything's going well, I think that's something to look at, but at least for this year, with everything changing, the finance committee should have some presence, so a member, participating on the finance team. Even if they're sort of an ad hoc member, just involved, so we're all on the same page.
So for January 10th, we want finance, select board, new TA, old TA, assessor, town accountant,
Treasurer.
treasurer.
I mean, I think it's a
Yeah, makes
financial
sense.
meeting.
I'm asking because I'm
Yeah,
going to put
makes
this.
sense.
Okay. Anyone else?
Not that I can think of. I mean, having a departmental communication to the department heads of, you're going to be working on your budgets, but
Now, let me
give us
ask,
the high-level things that we may need to know for the 10th.
let me ask you this. How early would it be convenient for everybody to meet? I don't want to do this 10 o'clock meeting thing.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 is fine. I mean, I think,
All right.
I know some members have time constraints with being able to get here. The finance committee, a member or the committee can be here, so,
Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
All right, then let's aim for January 10th, 5 o'clock, the big room downstairs, and we'll go from there.
Don't sit down, because I'm using your time for the public as the vehicle to get these out there. We were talking at the finance committee meeting, we used to have meetings where we brought the assessor, the treasurer, all department heads, and we haven't had those in a while. We should reinstitute those.
As select board?
Yeah, have them come before the select board, on a regular basis.
January 1st is coming,
I know.
and January 1st, we could have a transition of chairs on the select board.
Anything's possible, but that doesn't mean
Not
that we should.
January, usually
May.
it goes May.
He's just wishful thinking.
You're not getting off the hook.
Why not, what, January?
Like I said, wishful thinking.
She was
Conversation now.
had one ally here.
No, she just didn't understand. She wasn't
No,
happy.
I'm just asking January versus May.
So we should reinstitute those, though, have them come in.
All right.
And now we need to get the revenue and finance statements on a regular basis. I'm sure Ed will get that going.
Yeah.
We just got some, I did find them, we got them.
Yeah.
We did,
Yeah.
but we're still, there's revenue columns that are just blank, or let's say someone paid $100 for something, it's $100. We need to see the projected revenue and expenses, and, we talk about it, these entries, revenue and expense, they need to be done every 2 weeks or something, so that
Right.
when we get the report at the end of the month, it's accurate and up to date. I asked about the capital stabilization at the earlier meeting, because the report we have has 0 in there, and it very well could be definitely 0, but
Well, it is 0, because until town meeting transfers the money into it,
well, I don't know if there's anything left, right? So if there's
I think
50 cents left
no, I think
left
there's
from
about, I
next
think
year,
there's about $5,000 sitting in there right now.
it's blank on the report I have.
I know, and that's why I'm saying, I think there is.
There were some other questions on that report that I asked Bob, but he had a family emergency, so I haven't heard back from him yet. But there's a couple of that were way over.
Right.
And I don't understand.
And we used to talk about those, right? So we would meet quarterly, I think, you split it up every month or every 4 weeks or something.
Something like that, but, yeah.
I gotta tell you, that's one of the reasons that I voted to have Bob come in as a TA. I mean, he's got this background, he's got the history, he should be able to come right in.
You're talking about Ed?
You're talking about Ed.
I said Bob, didn't I? And Ed, yeah. Bob was my second choice. Was there a Bob? Yeah, there was. Sorry.
There was a Bob.
So I didn't mean that. So Ed, he can come in and, hit the ground running. And we also talked about, it has nothing to do with you, but it's just still the opening, the COA. Some people, the plumbing not working in there, that they can't use the sinks for this. Is that?
That's news to me.
That didn't come up at the COA meeting this morning?
So, no, the kitchenette in the COA, they are unable to use. My understanding, I'm not,
Yeah.
this is from previous conversations, but there's some sort of, I don't know if the septic wasn't designed to handle the
Oh, yeah, this
the
goes
added
way back to
kitchen
when I was on the
in
Board of
building.
Health, right?
The septic wasn't designed to handle a commercial kitchen operation.
So they couldn't put in a commercial level sink.
But they can use the sink in the dishwasher, because what I
Yeah.
heard is they couldn't use that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hearsay and rumor here.
Okay.
Well, I think they're under the impression they can, so I'm just,
So you're
That
on
goes back
board,
to when I was on the
I don't
Board of
know.
Health. There was,
I don't even know why we.
Francine brought that up.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't.
yeah.
And so maybe you can just.
When did
pass
this
them
come
on.
up? 'Cause
I know the
it
one
was-
that's
Called me
phones.
last week.
Oh, okay, because
Monday.
there was a COA meeting this morning, it didn't come up at all.
Well, it's been, so it's probably not talked about because it's an
So,
existing condition
yeah,
that's been
right.
going on
Yeah.
since the.
So maybe you can
I would just
clarify whether-
refer them to maybe get the information from the Board of
Okay.
Health. But there's a lot of backstory there in terms of what was put in, what the limitations were at the time.
If I remember right, what they wanted originally was a commercial kitchen. They
Right.
couldn't put in the separated grease traps and everything else that were necessary for that. So the idea was is that if they did packaged foods and
Right.
stuff of that nature, they'd have a place to wash stuff up, wash their dishes, that kind of stuff, and it'd be fine. That was my understanding of it. I wasn't directly involved, but that was what I was hearing. The septic system in this building is limited.
Yeah.
Uh,
So they agreed to modifications on what they did and how they handled food.
Yeah.
Maybe the Board of Health should reaffirm that, so the new
Yeah, I was
board
gonna say, I'll
knows.
talk to Janet and ask her to follow up with
Yeah.
the, Janet Kane is the current acting.
Just clarify what they agreed 2 years ago,
Right.
because it's all new
That's
down there.
all
Like the new
documented.
board, I should say.
Good. Thanks, Mike.
Speaking of the COA, they would like to come in front of the select board in January and give an update, all positive, around, because we have them here so often, especially in the spring and summer, and their things are going very well, and they'd like to come and give a report.
Okay. Do you want to bounce me an email, remind me, and I'll try to get it on the agenda?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, no more open time. Then this board is going to go into executive session. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Item 2 and 3, approval of executive session minutes from September 28th and October 17th. Basically, we're going to approve minutes, and then we're going to adjourn. We're not going back to open time. You guys all have a good evening. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to shut the recorder off.